Stop. Stop it. I'm Will Marshall, and I've set up this rare breeds farm. It's a conservation project to try and conserve farm animals from all around the world. Most of the breeds I'm working with here are on the brink of extinction, and they're found nowhere else in the world. Mainstream farming has become very monoculture. Historically, monoculture hasn't always been a good thing. An example of where it has gone bad is the Irish potato famine. One variety of potato was grown, blight got in, wiped out the nation's food crop, caused mass famine, and yeah, it was a very bad part in history. So what inspired me into working with rare breeds and doing this conservation work, it came from a TV show when I was 16, 17 years of age, and it was on a rare breeds farm in the Cotswolds. It was the light bulb moment. I knew instantly that's exactly what I wanted to do. I had no idea how I was going to achieve that, but that's exactly what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to work with animals, and step by step, I've made it happen. So these are some of my Kangaroo Island goats. They are a melting pot of goat genetics from all over the world. Their history is they started from goats that were brought here by the sealers and then the whalers and the lighthouse keepers. They picked up goats from various ports on their way to Kangaroo Island. So it's goats from all over the place. Quite a unique melting pot of goat genetics. But yeah, they were basically wiped out. Roger here, here's the core of the breeding program. He was the last, or was the last of the pure line of Kangaroo Island goats. So this is Dick Dastardly. He's a young African four-horn sheep. He was hand raised, hence why he's so quiet. Some friends and myself, we imported the embryos out of South Africa back in 2011. The gene is a very old gene in sheep. It turned up in early domestication of livestock to help with protecting the sheep from predation. His top horns aren't probably ideal from that perspective, but in a perfect world they'd be more sort of a V shape rather than curve. His lower ones are more ideal, and as he's a young one they're still growing, but they will continue to curve down wide of his neck, and they sort of help from a cat-like predator that would like to go for the jugular in an attack. Over time, for various reasons, a lot of the breeds become extinct. And some of the breeds, they just bred the gene out of them. So there's only a few breeds left around the world that still carry the multi-horn gene. But there's less than 100 of them, probably still less than 80 of them in Australia. And there's very few of them in South Africa. There's probably one or two very small flocks of them. So these are Kangaroo Island Bourdon pigs, derived from one pair of pigs that Nicolas Bourdon, the French explorer, released as he left Kangaroo Island in 1803. They went on and bred in total genetic isolation for the greater part of 200 years. So these are the last of the pure strain. I've got less than 20, and that is it for the entire world. They can be spotty or black, same thing. But they are very distinct and unique strain of pig genetically, and all living here at my place. This kind of work is extremely rewarding that I'm doing here, but it also comes with a lot of challenges. The most challenging has really been the bushfires that we've just had. On the 3rd of January 2020, we had massive bushfires. They were sweeping through the island, massive rate, they're doing massive destruction. In our district here at Stokes Bay, we felt we would be fairly safe, but I was wrong. We had no time to do anything. I just grabbed my dogs and put them in my ute. My little wallaby I was raising at the time, some little goslings I had, and some other little pets into their pet packs and into my ute. And I raced my ute into the paddock here. I wanted to run back around to open up some other yards to let some other animals out, but there was no time. I was torn because I wanted to go back because I felt I'd left everything to die if I didn't, but it came down to I had to save myself first. So I raced the ute down here to my dam, which is my safe place to elude a fire if ever it was to happen. Down here by my windmill. The fire had, in the meantime, come up, had it reached the pine trees up behind the back of my house, and it burnt past them and burnt across the paddock to the road. Another wind change turned it back, and it came back towards my house. And then embers eventually blew across my track and into this creek line. All I could do was sit and wait and watch. It was too big and too furious. I was literally on my own. The hardest bit for the night was that I thought all the animals were lost. If I'd lost the animals, I really don't know. Yeah. It wouldn't have been easy, and I'm not really sure what would have happened. But it was a very long night, and it seemed to go on forever. It did a hell of a lot of damage through the district. I can't even describe the emotions. Probably the most traumatic and difficult night and experience that I've ever been through. So weeks later, we finally got some rain, but it was a deluge. It washed heaps of ash down into the dams. It knocked all the oxygen out of the water, killed any aquatic life in it, and a lot of it was undrinkable for livestock. So it's just another thing on top of the fires. So this work that I'm doing is definitely the most rewarding work I could imagine that I could ever be doing. It certainly has had its challenges and will continue to have challenges, but there's nothing else I'd rather be doing. And the location that I'm able to work with these animals in is just one of the most beautiful places in the world. Support is great, so we can keep beautiful breeds like these little guys alive and going and increasing in numbers, and stopping them from becoming extinct. No more statistics, just want more breeds to be saved. There we go. That's a good girl.